Thank you. Any other questions before we get responses from the Minister and the Mayor?
Thank you very much, colleagues, for those sets of questions. I want to also just dip into the question raised by Ms. Langa. The first one, I know it's a question directed to the Mayor in relation to this specific project, but I want to answer at the national level because I think your question is up. So about 2 weeks ago, I announced the single biggest procurement program by a democratic government, 440 billion rands of transmission expansion. And in that briefing, I made the following points amongst the many, is that there's going to be 49% of black participation, and then we finalizing the number with DTIC on the localization component. And I made the point that we are going to foreground the role of women and youth in this build program. And in fact, we have scheduled, I think in 2 weeks' time, an engagement with people like yourselves from Tuesday, on Tuesday. So it's going to be an open platform. Even if you can't come through, you'll have a web, it's a webinar, you come in and then we'll be very specific about these opportunities. So your question is right. We have learned from our experiences with regards to the independent power producer procurement program. We have, there's total investments of over 250 billion, but there is nothing to show in the economy in relation to the transformation aspect and also the industrialization aspect. And it doesn't end there. We're going to cabinet, now we've finalized the IRP, the integrated resource plan. We're going to be procuring significant amount of new generation. Once it's approved, it's going to surpass the transmission program, because that one is 2.2 trillion rands of investments in the next 10 years. So if you come to think of it, it's about 25% of the South African GDP. So that's the biggest program that the country has ever announced. So once cabinet approves, we are going to spend 2.2 trillion. So it's going to work out, if you like, about 220 billion per annum. But when we start, we'll start slow. When we peak, we'll be spending close to 300 billion rands per annum, which is significant in terms of, if you were to look at the budget today, it's about, if you like, so the budget is 2.1 trillion rands, so it's about 15% of the total budget, just spent on one program. So once we are done with that, we must show where these black entrepreneurs, where the female participants. So you can see it dwarfs this program. Here we're talking 9 billion, there we're talking 440, 2.2 trillion, but your point is right. Whether the program is small or big, 9 billion by any measure is huge. So I'm sure that the municipality will be able to cater for that. And then the question from ENCA, no, there is no, you remember I made the point is that it's an off-balance sheet transaction. Oh, well, eThekwini will see how they design it, but the mayor just shared with us. So they are going to call for proposals. So it's the private sector that brings its money. Even this amount that I told you about, this 2.2 trillion I'm talking, it's not our money. The private sector will invest in the South African economy, but will place conditions, black participation, black content, local manufacturing, all of that, so that we're able to transform the South African economy. In relation to Piyo's question, it's an important question you are asking. So if everyone is leaving Eskom, who's going to be left with Eskom? It's in the best interest of Eskom that the domestic and local consumption, it gets to be serviced at the domestic and local level. So this enhances the diversification of generation in the country. So essentially when Mayor Xaba gets to a point, so 25% are self-generate, so it'll get to industry and then also provide for his own, for the domestic consumption here. So that burden of over 100 billion rands that is owed to Eskom, the municipality will then be able to address that at the local level. Of course, there's technology that allows us to achieve this. And then Eskom will then be focused on in large part, you are industrial consumers. And then part of it will be for exports. Of course, the assumption is that we have met our requirements for local demand. But remember that as the economy grows, our optimistic number, the president announced 3% over the term of the administration. Of course, we are not yet there. But as the economy grows, demand on electricity grows. So you don't have to over-rely just on Eskom. You need what I call polycentric generation. You need other people to be generating to help Eskom to lift this heavy weight. And that's why we're relying on eThekwini to do that, to do this amongst others. And we hope other municipalities are going to come on board and help us. And of course, the mayor did indicate what it means from a revenue point of view. I think per annum, they'll be saving about 250 million rands, and then they can redeploy it somewhere else. So it gives them lever to invest in social infrastructure. So it's a symbiotic relationship. The benefits are both ways. Eskom benefits, municipality benefits, but the key beneficiary is the South African economy and also industry and consumers. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Minister. Thank you, members of the media, for your question. Perhaps let me start with the simplest question of all, whether the city owes Eskom. The plain answer, Minister, to that is that we don't owe them even a single cent.
Yes, I can confirm.
We don't own water, utility. We don't own Eskom. We spent about 17 billion rand. That's money we set aside to purchase power from Eskom, and about 5 billion rand to purchase water from Umgeni, Uchubela. But the customers are the ones who are owing us. But it's a matter that is receiving attention because we also have a responsibility to bring down our debtors book. So I'm well alive to that fact. And then the second point raised about empowerment of women and youth in the process. Indeed, we've issued out the first request for information just to test the appetite in the market. And then we had to wait for the minister's determination because we issue out a request for proposal, and that too assist us to scan the environment just as part of testing the market. And of course, an economy that leaves women at stand is growth. You've got to bring that power into the economy to expand your growth so that you can be able to deal with all your needs as it were. So we are very much aware of that. There are programs to assist women to participate in the tendering processes of the municipality. I'm sure the minister has indicated what he plans to do, and we will also be looking at what else we can do as a city to ensure that we empower youth and women in the process. City manager will reserve the city up here. And the minister has explained the issue. I'm not going to deal with it, that as the economy grows, the demand for electricity grows. So allowing independent power producers into the space assist Eskom and enables us to grow our economy as being burdened by the growth. It's not only the economy in the city, Minister, it's the population as well. There is a rapid that we also have to keep up. And we're excited about this news of this 400 megawatts, that renewable energy that we will produce. What you're saying, Minister, is that is a two-way stream. We purchase it from independent power producers, and we can, generate for our own consumption as well. So these are matters that we are looking at. So I think we have.
The mayor and the minister, and I would assume that we don't have the mayor and the minister, and I would assume that we don't have any follow-up questions. Since my assumption is then correct, which therefore means we've come to the end of this media briefing, and perhaps just to share with members of the media that from here, as the mayor has alluded to the issues or the elements of the potential that the city has with the self-generating capacity, we will be going to a site visit to Bizarra Landfield, which is a gas to electricity project led by, or rather, under the auspice of the eThekwini municipality. You are welcome to join us there if you'd like to also have sight of that project. Thanks.
Thank you, my brother.